Meantime, Republican National Committee Chairman Reince Priebus will speak at the 2015 Conservative Political Action Conference in Washington, D.C. on Friday. OAN America's D.C. contributor David Brody had the chance to sit down with Priebus. Take a look.
Thanks for doing this, by the way.
I'm happy to be here.
All right. Look, so let me start with some news of the day here, this DHS funding bill. You know, the media wants to beat up the Republicans on this. They're saying, oh, you know, we've got all sorts of problems because the Republicans, you know, they box themselves into a corner. What do you make of all that's going on here?
Well, I mean, it kind of depends on which day you read the papers. I mean, for all week you saw the media was beating up the Democrats for blocking DHS funding, and there was a lot of that out there. Look, you know, here's the problem. We've got a president who is going to veto whatever we put in front of him. So here's the thing. He did something that's unconstitutional. That we can all agree on. He's drafting laws with his pen, and we have to try to undo something he did that's unconstitutional with legislation that he can veto. And so the good news here is that no matter how this turns out, and we don't know how it's going to turn out, the good news is that we got a court in Texas, a federal court that said this is unconstitutional. We got a Fifth Circuit above that court, which is also fairly conservative as a circuit. You know, I think, and we have now senators and others adding amicus briefs into that case, and I think unconstitutional actions should be called unconstitutional by the third arm of government, which is the court. And so, you know, you know, do you defund DHS completely? I don't know too many Republicans that agree that that's a good idea, but almost everyone agrees that we ought to defund the portion that we both, or at least most people agree, is unconstitutional, and that's the challenge. Defunding something that's unconstitutional that the president won't veto. Not easy.
Yeah. Let me ask you about CPAC real quick, and what kind of message do you want to see come out of an event like this, and especially as it pertains to 2016 and the eventual presidential candidate or the nominee that's going to be here?
I mean, it's the start of the primary season. I'm excited to be here. I'm losing my voice. I'm so excited to be here.
I can tell the excitement's killing you.
Although it gets really low. So, look, I think this is a unifying event. There's a lot of different voices in our party, but there are basically two parties that people can decide to vote and walk through that door with come 2016. Over 60 million people walked through the Republican door and the Mitt Romney door in 2012. The only way we're going to win is if more than 60 million people walk through that door. And those 60 million people don't necessarily agree with each other on everything. I think both of you can at least admit we don't agree with our spouses on everything. But we need to grow that number, and we need to turn out a greater percentage of that number than we did in 2012 in order to compete. And that's the job of a competent national party that's got its act together. And that's what I'm trying to focus in on.